Welcome to the Scoop with Dukes. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka DukesTheScoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at DukesTheScoop. And please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you have not already, go to the description and look for the link to become a member of this channel. We have varying levels of support. That's what keeps this information free. All right, guys, let's talk about midweek in Auburn after Wednesday's practice. I believe it's like practice 8 maybe by now, fully into a week of a fall camp of actual days, 7, 8 days worth of work. You got a game in 3 weeks, basically. Um, and now you're starting to see some of the ideas formulate because you got to figure out who's going to be where on that initial depth chart so you can start to really game plan for Baylor, which is a huge game for both teams. I feel like it's a bigger game for Auburn just because of the amount of talent, the perception that Auburn has underachieved in recent years when it comes to recruiting. Coach Freeze was brought in to be uh, an ace recruiter, someone to reverse the fortunes of the roster and where the roster was left after the Harsin regime. And recruiting wise, Coach Freeze has done that. So now you have to see if the proof is really in the pudding. How good have the roster building efforts been? So Coach Freeze had a presser after practice, after Wednesday's practice. You can go get caught up on it on 24/7 Auburn Undercover, or you can also go to Auburn Rivals, or you can go to auburnsports.com. But for all three of them, I mean, wherever you go to get your Auburn information, it's pretty much the same information, but both sites do a great job, and they do it in different ways, and everybody has eyeballs, different eyes, so they see things differently. But first and foremost, this is a quote from Coach Freeze on Wednesday's practice. We had a really good day Monday, not as good today. Yesterday was an off day, speaking on Tuesday. The day before that was really good, speaking on Monday. You would think we would have a little more energy, I would hope. I just told him a while ago, if you're only excellent when people are watching, it's not excellence. I want to stop right there. I love that quote. When I was working in warehousing, I had a guy, assistant general manager by the name of Roger Thrash. Right now, he's like regional, whatever. He's like really high up the chain of command at TJ Maxx Warehousing. But he told me I had a great day in my area. I was a budding star. I'm flying up the chain of command, and he's like, "Hey, Dukes, you had a great day today. That means that but that doesn't mean you're good at what you do. You see, anybody can have a good day. How can you make the cycle repeatable so you can have a good month, a good week, a good month, a good year? That's the sign of you being a good manager. Is the cycle repeatable? Because if not, that day you were good is isolated. Maybe you were lucky. Being consistent erases all doubt. That stuck with me forever. That's the same thing I feel like what Coach Freeze is saying. Anybody can be good with the cameras out. Anybody can be good when you know you're being seen. But the consistent level of effort, flying to the ball, trying to be first in your drills, that's the mark of a championship team. So I think it's really good that Coach Freeze is driving that message home. He goes on to say, is if you're only excellent when people are watching, it's not really excellence, it's just performing. Love that quote. There were spurts of practice that were really good, and there were others where I think we just kind of got through. We've got to improve and make sure that every rep, every day must be stacked in order to win these competitive close games that we're going to be in. So understanding what the SEC is and Auburn's place in the SEC hierarchy as it stands today, Coach Freeze is looking for excellence on a consistent basis. So you don't have those lulls that you caught in the season where teams started to lean on Auburn, or Auburn had the inability to lean on the team with the lead. So I think definitely I can hear some toughness that he's looking for. I think he's looking for some discipline. And These are things that I think will help Auburn because I really feel like this roster. Everybody's gonna call me crazy, but I feel like this roster has 10 win potential, 9 for sure. But I feel like this, just the roster alone, and you're starting to see guys emerge in weak spots. Like we'll talk about the linebacker position in a minute, but I feel like as you start to build depth, I mean the defensive line don't get a whole lot better. That secondary, man, you got so many options. I mean, you got guys who can really play ball. Now you got an offensive line like linebackers and running backs, I would say. And now you have people emerging at both of those positions. This is a complete roster. The kicking game worries me a little bit, but outside of that, I see this can easily be a 10-9 win roster. So you got to have that consistency because it could just as easily be a 5-6 game roster. Just a talented bunch of guys who underachieve and underperform. Coach Freeze goes on. I thought the Skelly Pilly, excuse me, I thought the Skelly period was an offensive period that went really, really well. I thought our quarterbacks were sharp, our receivers were sharp. We completed a lot of balls. That's an offensive drill. That's what you should do. Okay, so Skelly was nice. Okay, here we go. Here's another quote. Let's talk about the linebackers a little bit. I got a little bit of a I told you so moment right here, but just watch this. We did take care of the ball. I thought in the third and short period, the defense really had great energy there. Really, two guys really flashed, and that's linebackers Xavier Atkins and Bryce Diaz. They really flashed, man. When they decide to hit a gap, it's in a hurry. Obviously, the front had to play well to free them up also. I thought they dominated that drill. And that's one where you go to the success that we wanted, and it's been those critical downs, those 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s that you have to be excellent on defense. Today defense was really dang good in those. I think we had 8 reps, and offense was 2 of 8. Okay, listen. If you've been following me since I've been kind of kicking up my Auburn coverage, a name that I told you I keep hearing is Xavier Atkins. Now Coach Freeze is saying Xavier Atkins flashed again. I'm telling you, this guy's gonna play. I think he's gonna play a lot. I think it's gonna be hard to keep his athleticism off the field. What he lacks in size, he makes up in speed and tenacity. I'm telling you, he's a player to watch. Bryce Diaz, same thing. They call him Juice. He has a lot of juice. They fly around the field. I think linebacker is going to be fine this year. I think Xavier Atkins right now is your 3rd linebacker, but depending on the situation, he could be in your top 2. I don't know if there's anyone who has the run and hit that he has and the coverage ability rolled into one. I just don't see it on that roster. Um, very, very aggressive, especially in the run game. So he's going to help Auburn a lot. So shout out to everybody who's been following and saw me say that. And I'm glad that Coach Freeze was able to basically confirm what I've been hearing. All right, this is Coach Freeze talking about the young defensive players. There's no greater motivator than competition and somebody being behind you. The one thing I love that DJ, speaking on Coach Durkin, is doing is that there are no 1s, 2s, and 3s. You'll look out there one time. Offensively, they'll say group 1, but he may have 3, 4, or 5 freshmen out there. He's constantly mixing that up, and making sure everybody knows it's a competition. It's what you do. It's what you do, I should say. And I think the fact that we've added some depth there is going to make us all better. All right, so the other day in practice, I asked for, I believe Monday, when I was going over Sunday's practice with some guys, what I'll do is I always ask guys about a flash play. And then if the flash play is consistent, where I'll say, sometimes, I'll say, hey, man, I heard this play happen. I asked different guys, what was the play of practice? And when I hear multiple people say the same play, then I get into people who are around the play or the person who made the play. And I say, who was next to you or who was by you? And if you do that on offense, you can ask a question and find out without having to see the play. You can find out if it's the 1s or the 2s. On defense, you never know. There was one play last week, the linebackers. I mean, one play last week that I spoke on Champ Anthony, Jay Crawford, um, Xavier Atkins, Caleb Wheatland, Malik Autry, Jordan Crawford, Joe Phillips. There was just such a different mix of guys. Oh, Melendez's brother, not even Elijah Melendez, but his brother was in the game. So there were threes, twos, and ones all in the same on the field at the same time. And I think what it's doing is, I even look at it when you think about little league football. So even with my son, he's playing middle school ball. You got the starters. They got a small team. He goes to a private school, and usually when you run the ones, you've got the majority of the talent on the team. So I try to switch it up. I tell, I ask the head coach, and I help coach, and I'm like, well, look, give me 3 of your guys, I'll give you 3 of mine. And what that does is it allows the guys who may not be looking to play as much to understand the speed of what it takes to be able to play with the ones. When you got a one guy next to you helping you instead of you going against them, if you're a 3 and you're playing next to a 1, it gives you that confidence that, hey, I can do this. If I've got a 1 next to me and I make a play and that 1 comes over and tells me good play, that means that if I am thrust into action, I already have the familiarity of what it takes to be successful. I think that is a great tactic by Coach Durkin, especially defensively, where guys get injuries all the time, and you got to be able to step up. You got to be able to have timing, and you got to be on that type of timing as soon as you step into the game. So, shout out to Coach DJ Durkin, who I think is doing a phenomenal job with that defense, and we saw how well the defense played last year. This is Coach Freeze on Jackson Arnold. Said, really pleased, met with them yesterday and the quarterback coaches. It's sad but true, but I get to go into these rooms and only talk about the bad stuff. Um, he's a little greedy in the RPO game. I think we can get that corrected pretty simply. I don't think he did that today after yesterday's meeting. I don't remember a single time he tried to force something to happen that wasn't there. I'm really pleased with his decision making. The ball is coming out quick. I think he's using his legs when he doesn't feel comfortable with what he sees and creating. But he's creating explosive plays when he does move out of the pocket. He throws really, really well on the run. Another thing that I have been hearing consistently is that when it comes to, I think everybody assumed that Deuce Knight, based on his size and his straight line speed, was going to be a better mover or a better mobile quarterback than Jackson Arnold. And Jackson Arnold is shifty. He has side to side agility. Like I said, Deuce Knight is more of a long strider. Jackson Arnold has a little bit of that Johnny Manziel shake to him, maybe some Bo Nix to him a little bit, where you have the athleticism to move out of the pocket and make something happen. So I think in the RPO, that's going to be really important there. Shout out to Jackson Arnold and for Coach Freeze for highlighting his athleticism, not just his decision making. And I think that what this is going to tell us for the year is that I want to see Jackson Arnold take more shots from what I've been hearing. But I think Coach Freeze wants him to take those shots within the system. He's saying get the ball to your playmakers, and we'll get to the playmakers momentarily. But he's saying, look, get the ball out fast, get them the ball, let them make the play. We live to fight another day. If you can consistently keep the chains moving with that mentality, I think it'll work well for Auburn. This is him on Malcolm Simmons and Perry Thompson. Malcolm and Perry jump off the page as much better route runners, understand the depth of routes, how you release, how to shave routes against man and against zone. Um, and I think, hold up, I want to go to the part where he talks about the evolution of Auburn's wide receivers. He said, I don't mean this to sound egotistical in any way, but it's the truth. I've been at 4 different universities, and at all 4, we've been able to have 10-win seasons or more. When I look at those, we've had receivers that can win one-on-ones and operate in our system, and a quarterback that could get it to them. So what I'm hearing is exactly what I just said. He wants to get the ball in the playmakers' hands and let them make the plays. But, man, can you blame him at all? Cam Coleman, Eric Singleton, Perry Thompson, Malcolm Simmons, Horatio Fields, Sam Turner, Duke Smith, Bryce Kane. Those are just 8 off the top of my head. You got to get the ball to the playmakers. And I think Coach Freeze is saying, look, we don't have to throw the ball 70 yards to get the ball in the hands of the playmakers. These guys can win one-on-ones. They can win the slant. They can literally win a hitch. They can run a basic route tree, and we could be successful. A 1, 3, 5, 7, don't matter. You give them whatever. And this wide receiver room can be successful. And I think Coach Freeze is going to have a concerted effort to get them the ball. And all that is going to do is make people go into drops, is make people drop 7 and drop 8. And you're going to be running against a 3-man front a lot of the time. And that should open things up for Damari Austin, Darrell Robinson, Jeremiah Cobb, who returned to practice, and also Omar Mapson. We'll get to him in a second. Let's go. Boom, here we go. He also shouted out Amaris Williams. He said he's just used to being so athletic coming out of high school. He was thinking, well, I'm just going to rush outside, and you just can't do that. He's starting to understand it and get better. I heard he's been coming along. Robert Woodard is doing some good things also. Yep. So Jay Crawford, he said, man, he had a solid year last year, but he continues to flash in one-on-ones, playing the ball with good technique. Not so handsy as he was last year. I continue to say Jay Crawford is a technician. So last year, they say he may be on a little handsy and probably got away with some stuff, but you can't call it unless they call it, it's not a problem. But even being able to refer to refine his technique, being able to refine his technique, get even better, worked on the speed, works with OD3 out of in Atlanta, training wise. Man, Jay Crawford is a first round pick waiting to happen. And I think that he can lead. I'm going to go with Rayshawn Pleasant, Caleb Harris, Sylvester Smith, Champ Anthony. I mean, the list goes on. That secondary is going to be very, very potent for Auburn this year. And I would love to see them in some zone and some trap situations where they can just pin their ears back, drop, and go find the ball, be ball hawks. And I think that's what you have. But they can also play man coverage, which I love. I love the ability for the corners to play man. I love that about Auburn's secondary. He had something to say about Alex McPherson in his health. Today he was automatic, didn't miss a kick. You're still monitoring his health. It's not that he's not kicking it well. We just want to maintain his weight. Do whatever we can to support him and his doctor in doing that. Whether that means he needs to sit out 2 days, we'll do whatever it takes. All right. Tight ends. Preston Howard is coming on. Made a really nice catch today. I believe strongly in Brandon Frazier. I think those two guys with Tate Johnson, the former offensive lineman, in big sets. Ryan G has flashed as a freshman, and he's a little dinged up right now. Not at practice today. All right, so he's showing some. There's a vote of confidence for the tight end room. Let's go. He says a lot more. I want to go to what he says. Coach Freeze said this last week, but I want to make sure we said it. This is him talking about Omar Mapson. Everybody who's covering Auburn has continued to hear about him. So something that was unexpected. This is him talking about Omar. But I'll tell you, the one that's flashing is Omar. Freeze said after Friday's practice. The pad level he has, and he's patient. He's going to finish moving forward. It seems he's going to finish moving forward. We're in third, and they're thudding him pretty good, and he's finishing runs. I'd say he's been the most surprising, so our confidence level is growing. He reclasses 26 to 25, and he's doing it against grown men, and it's not a problem. I think Omar Mapson helps you this year. You don't have that bruiser of a back. He's the guy, 5'9", 215. This guy looks like he's 17, 18 years old. He looks like he can be a 230-pound running back in 2-3 years easily. 225 is going to be a load at 5'9". and then he's put together masterfully. He's really impressive. All right, guys. I try to keep these around 20 minutes. So good to hear Coach Freeze. I'm excited about the season. I'll try to get you guys some more inside information as far as what happened. I think Thursday is media availability. I'm not sure. But if not, as always, I'll probably try to get back in here Friday with some more information. Shout out to all the sites that are covering it, man. Like they're doing a bang up job. And if you guys want to talk about anything, drop it in the comments. All right, man, that's my time. I'm out.